Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Selena from Wholeness Campaign, and in this video I'm going to show you how I'm reviving my kefir grains that I have literally left on the counter in milk for over a month, you guys. It's absolutely disgusting looking, but it's actually not bad, believe it or not. So I want to kind of show you my process of reviving them. I'm going to use some fresh milk to kind of wash them down, and then I'm going to just start a new batch because I'm prepping for birth. And if you see my other videos, then you probably know that you can actually seed your baby's gut microbiome by not only taking probiotics in pregnancy, but also lathering them on your skin and also preparing your down there regions with a healthy microbiome. And yeah, there's not going to be anything graphic here, trust me. But I also want to answer a couple questions that I got on another video about making cultured cream and whether I should use grains or store-bought milk kefir to start it. I did get quite a few objections on that, totally understand. So I'm going to take you through that process and answer some of those hot topic questions. Let's jump in. Okay, so to start out with, I've got this nasty kefir that's been on the counter for way too long, you guys. But I want to show you because raw milk doesn't go bad. And that's what's really cool here is that it's fermented. It's definitely over fermented. Like, it will taste absolutely gross. I'm not going to drink this kefir, but it's not bad. Like, there's no mold growing on it. There might be a little bit of wild calm yeast, but there really isn't anything actually that's bad for you in it. And so if I stir it around, I mean, you're going to see all the whey has completely separated. It's all pretty much just curds and whey at this point. But I want to show you that there actually are still grains in here. I've done this before because I get lazy with my kefir sometimes. And there's also this like sheet little globs of yeast, which are actually beneficial yeast. There's nothing to be scared of there, but I probably will not eat it because it's going to taste gross. So let me show you. I'm just searching for the grains here, so I'm going to strain everything out. I normally would with kefir. And if I'm scaring you away from doing kefir, please don't let that scare you. This is just me being irresponsible, okay? It's not usually this gross, but it's crazy how capable raw milk is of just staying alive no matter what, because it's a living food that's got microbes and enzymes that are protecting them. So if you let it get this fermented, it's going to smell kind of like feet. I'll be honest with you. And I'm probably not winning anybody over into the kefir market right now, but it's true. It just doesn't smell great when you over ferment it. But it's also a signal that if it doesn't taste good or smell good, you really didn't do it right. So keep that in mind. Like, if it's over fermented, it's going to taste bad, but it doesn't have to. And honestly, my taste buds have totally adapted to kefir to where my body actually does crave it. I've been doing a lot more yogurt lately, but your body will get to a place where it craves what is good for it. And that's what we want. We don't really want to be like forcing ourselves to eat things that we don't enjoy forever. Our goal is to actually change our taste buds and recover the systems that got us sick in the first place, right? So there's a lot of yeast in here. I'm going to have to probably expect that it'll be a little bit messy if you let it go this long. It really does not need to be this way. But these grains are resilient, and people tell me all the time, I killed my grains. I killed my kefir grains. I had to buy more. It's probably not actually true. It takes a lot to kill these kefir grains. I've done it before. I've shrunken them before. I do get it. They can die. And in very rare situations, they can mold. But usually that's if you're using pasteurized milk. This is raw milk. I even got the question on my YouTube a lot, can you actually use raw milk with kefir? And the answer to that is yes. Hold on. We are shifting over here because I don't want to wake my son up, but yeah. So the big debate is, can you make kefir with the powder, which is often what they're using in store-bought kefir. That's why they get it all taste really good and taste the same and coherent bottle to bottle and not be like over fermenting. It's also highly pasteurized. So powder or grains, and the grains are gonna have much more diversity. So if you're learning how to make cultured cream and you want a very simple way to make it, I recommend just grabbing some kefir from the store and some cream from the store and fermenting it that way. Obviously, that's not gonna have as many beneficial microbes. This was the complaint that I got in the video, of course. It's not gonna have as many, but it's a great starting point. And actually, that's how I will start some of my clients that are more sensitive to probiotics, is we're not gonna jump full on into kefir that's made with grains. You can sometimes start with just the powder, and that will have less beneficial microbes, so it's gonna cause less die-off in the beginning. But these grains are usually the best. So when we can, and when it's in our routine and everything, I would much rather use this. I will say, if you're debating between not doing it at all and you want something that's just easy, you can go to the store, grab some store-bought kefir, and stir your own with your own raw milk at home. You can make your own kefir, make your own cultured cream. By doing that, it's very easy. You just put a tablespoon in each jar and let it sit on the counter until it's thickened. So don't let that steer you away if it's a matter of habit. I would obviously rather people be having kefir than not having it, even if it's not as good as it could be. But these are really not that hard, and I'm not proving you right here that this is like taking forever. It's really because there's so much yeast in here. But if you keep up with it and don't do what I did, it's really not hard. Probably gonna put this in a bigger strainer so that I can get through and see where the grains are. All we need is a couple grains out of here, and then we'll have plenty to start it, because the cool thing about grains is that they multiply. Once you've used the powder, you've used it up. So the grains, they'll multiply. You can use them over and over and over again. They're much better investment in that sense. All right, this is probably as far as I'm gonna get it conveniently. So I'm gonna go and get another strainer. Got this big one. They usually come in packs of 3. But let's see where these grains are, and I know that we'll be able to find some. Some of this yeasty stuff makes it hard. The film that develops at the top can sometimes make it tricky to strain this. But when there isn't that thick yeast layer and you're doing it daily, that is gonna be very easy and fast. Okay, I already see grains here. They definitely shrink, so that's the thing, is they're not gonna be super big and bubbly when they've been dormant for so long, or once the lactose has been eaten up inside the milk, you're gonna notice that they do kind of start to shrink over time if you do what I did and leave it on the counter for a month. But I have so much trust in this process that I'm willing to go for it, and I already see these little grains. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour some clabbered milk, because I have some milk I wanna just throw down the drain anyway. So I'm gonna do that just to give them a rinse, and then I'll pour some fresh milk, and then I'm gonna put them in their own jar again with the fresh milk. Do that a couple times for a couple days in a row, and that will get this really, really good tasting kefir. Eventually, the first couple rounds are not gonna be that great because it's still got this yeasty, I mean, it is yeast, but it's gonna have this like kind of tangy texture from being left out so long. So I'm not expecting the first couple rounds to be my go-to, but after a couple, we should be good. Okay, let me show you what I'm gonna do. We're getting a good amount. Definitely not eating this, just so we're clear. Although you could throw this in a bath, and actually that might be what I do. Put it in a bath for my son. Okay, so this is old raw milk, but raw milk doesn't go bad, so I'm not worried about it. We're just using this to rinse. It's very clabbered, you get the idea. Grab something like this and just kind of give that rinse through. The funny thing is the texture of that milk actually almost looks like it turned into kefir. Raw milk is pretty amazing like that. It just cultures itself when it knows that it needs to. Okay. Kind of shaking it out, I would tap it. The tapping method is great if I wasn't afraid of waking my son up. But you can see already it's rinsed, and there's like the little grains that I'm gonna put into some milk. I'm gonna give a little rinse with this. This is actually still decently good. I can make that into yogurt, so I'm not gonna put all of it down the drain, but that other one was gross. So, okay, that's perfect. If you're concerned that I'm putting all this amazing raw milk down the drain, me too, me too. Sometimes we just don't get around to using it as fast as we get it from our farm though, and I'm okay with that because we use a lot. Okay, this is perfect. So you'll see here, that's what's left. I'm gonna stick it in a jar. I got this guy. Put what's here to this jar. Let's see if I can show you. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm losing grains. Not a big deal. Like I said, they'll multiply. All right. I'm not worried about getting every single little tiny one. But now I'm gonna take this. I'm just gonna pour. Oh, I told you it's a little clabbered, but it's fine because the first couple batches of this kefir is gonna. I was saying that the first couple batches are gonna be gross anyway, so I'm not super worried about using clabbered milk, but that's a great way to use it up. Is just make it into kefir. But this, you'll see, I show you. I'm just gonna put the lid on loosely, and tomorrow, or since it's cold and snowy out here in the next like 2 days or so, it'll be ready to shift out. We're feeding the grains this lactose so that it can become this probiotic effervescent drink that is going to be really beneficial for your gut. So if you haven't started drinking kefir, I would encourage you just to start really slow. Grab some grains, honestly, the ones on Amazon that are like $15 from a random person. They come in a plastic container. Those are fine. I've gotten them many times, and I've thought I've killed kefir grains, and really they are so resilient. And this is actually how we make ourselves as resilient, as we get the right microbes in our gut, and then our health becomes as resilient as the kefir grains in all of this mess. If you have any questions about gut health, I have a free live Q&A coming up, a part of my free community. It's called Wholeness Hub. It'll be linked below this video if you want to join. Feel free to join. We would love to have you. And I answer questions in a free live on there once a month. So we would love to have you. It's Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time. So go ahead and hop into Wholeness Hub. You'll be able to see this Facebook-like feed, a meetups tab, and you'll be able to join the meetup on Friday. If you got any value out of this video, like the video and subscribe to my channel for more root cause gut health related content like this. And I will see you guys in the next one.